Hey guys, Legoinator here, and today I'll be discussing 37 different versions of Batman from across the multiverse. So as you probably know, since Batman's debut in Detective Comics 27 of May 1939, there have been numerous different versions of him across the years. Across the multiverse, there are unlimited numbers of alternate Batman who are almost the exact same as the one we know, but different in one little way. I'm about to quickly list off 37 of these for you to enjoy. Why 37? I don't know, but come on, let's jump straight into the list. Let's kick this off with the main version of Batman we've all come to know and love, simply just Bruce Wayne Batman from the New 52 Earth continuity. You probably know this version of Batman's history, but just in case somehow you don't, this Batman is the protector of Gotham City, and when he was very young his parents were murdered in front of him. Years later he would swear an oath to protect the city and become Batman. He has had many sidekicks called Robin and joined superhero teams such as the Justice League. Another popular version of Batman is Terry McGinnis Batman, aka Batman Beyond. This version of Batman is several decades into the future. He is the successor of Bruce Wayne and has a strand of Bruce's genetic material in him. At some point he would steal a futuristic Batsuit from Bruce and use it to avenge the death of his late father. After this, Terry will continue to be Batman and protect Neo Gotham under Bruce's guidance. Owlman is Thomas Wayne Jr. from an evil alternate universe. In this universe, Owlman, along with the help of his world's Alfred, murdered both his parents and his brother, Bruce Wayne, when he was young. He then proceeded to inherit the family fortune and use it to become Owlman. In his lifetime he has also joined evil superpowered teams such as the Crime Syndicate. Batman from Earth 19 is basically the same as normal Batman, apart from the fact that his story is set in 1889. This version of Batman is pitted up against Jack the Ripper and is subsequently framed for Jack's murders. He is sent to prison because of this, but manages to escape and continue his mission. The next Batman on this list is Batman Red Sun. In this universe, Superman landed in Russia instead of Smallville and was instantly used as a weapon by Stalin, changing the entire timeline. Also, when Batman was young, his parents were gunned down by a Stalin police force, giving him the motivation he needed to become a resistance fighter and the most wanted man in Russia. Vampire Batman is a version of Batman from an alternate universe where Batman discovers Dracula is alive and well. Batman confronts Dracula and wins the battle, killing the evil vampire, but at the cost of his humanity. From that point onwards, Batman, now a vampire, tracks down all his old foes and kills them. Another version of Batman is Batman of Zurr-En-Arrh. This Batman is a scientist from Zurr-En-Arrh called Talano. He was inspired by the Batman of Earth to don the cape and cowl. Later, when he found his planet under attack from robot invaders, he called on the Batman of Earth for help. Imagine what would happen if Green Lantern was Batman. Well, luckily you don't have to imagine, because DC has done all the imagining for you. In this alternate universe, Alan Sir's ship crashed into Wayne Manor, and instead of the Ream choosing Hal Jordan, it settles for Bruce Wayne. From this moment onwards, Bruce is Green Lantern. The next Batman is Flashpoint Batman. This Batman is not Bruce Wayne, but actually his father Thomas. You see, in this universe Bruce was murdered instead of his parents. This event turns Thomas Wayne into a much darker, more brutal Batman, and interestingly turns Martha into the Joker. Batman from Kingdom Come is an older, more hardened Batman. This version of Batman protects Gotham remotely from the Batcave and uses automated mechs to carry out crime fighting. He has sustained so many injuries he needs a brace and an armoured suit to keep his body together. Earth 3839 Batman is basically the Golden Age version of Batman. He started his crime-fighting career in the 1930s. This take on Batman seemed to have no problems with casually snapping necks and shooting guns. Wayne Williams Batman is a version of Batman designed by Stan Lee. This version of Batman gets set up by a local gang and is framed for a crime he didn't commit. While in prison he learns many skills to help with crime fighting. Eventually, when he gets out, he goes into the wrestling business under the name Batman. Mere weeks later, he seeks out vengeance on the gang who framed him. The next version of Batman is simple. Instead of Kal-El's rocket landing in Smallville, it lands in Gotham, and Kal-El is adopted by the Waynes and called Bruce. Same with the original Batman. Martha and Thomas are murdered by Joe Chill, but this time Kal-El disintegrates Joe with his heat vision. Later, Kal becomes Batman, but not for long, as sometime after becoming Batman, he transitions over to becoming Superman. The Amalgam Universe is a universe where DC is crossed with Marvel. In this universe, Wolverine is crossed with Batman to create Logan Wayne, aka Dark Claw. Basically, Dark Claw is just Batman, but with Wolverine's skeleton, healing factor, and claws. His greatest enemy is Hyena, who is Joker crossed with Sabretooth. Batman 1966 is a version of Batman portrayed by Adam West in the original Batman TV show. This Batman always has his trusty pal Robin at his side and is a bit of a wackier version of Batman. Some of his gadgets he used on his many missions include bat spray and a bat telephone. Sir William was a knight in King Arthur's time that was tricked into portraying as king by Morgan Le Fay and therefore banished to Castle Bat. From there, using magic, he projected his consciousness into a suit of armour and used it to carry out crime fighting in medieval London City to atone for his sins. Next up, I'm guessing you've all heard of Bizarro, the evil counterpart of Superman, but have you heard of Bat-Zarro? You see, Bat-Zarro is the evil counterpart of Batman and the exact opposite in every way. He's known as the worst detective ever and spends all his time gunning down couples in Crime Alley, the exact opposite to Batman's origin. Bat Ninja was sworn to protect the house of Hideyoshi and kill no one that had not been ordered to be killed. One day, while out with his apprentice— no, stop. It's Batman as a ninja. Really, what more needs to be said? Wizard Batman is a version of Batman who, along with his normal abilities, also uses spells and performs magic. This version of Batman also has a gigantic black dragon he rides who he calls Batwing. Instead of fighting traditional villains, he fights magically enhanced evil versions of the Justice League. Earth 31 Batman is the Batman from the Dark Knight Returns comics. This Batman is a broken, older Batman. He is famous for hatching a plan to murder Superman with the help of the Green Arrow. This plan nearly worked, but ultimately doesn't succeed and instead ends with Batman faking his own death. The next version of Batman is Azrael, aka Jean Paul Valley. This version of Batman takes over the Batman identity while Batman's back was broken. Eventually, though, he gets too violent and Bruce has to take his persona as Batman back. On Earth 51, Batman's history parallels that of the original Batman's history apart from one thing: the murder of the Joker. You see, in this universe, when the Joker killed Jason Todd Robin, Batman cracked and straight out murdered him. This led him on a destructive path, eliminating and killing all supervillains. The Scorpion is a parallel to Batman just on Earth 41. Not much is known about him apart from the fact that on his Earth, the planet is divided into many nations that are all mostly self-sufficient and only come together in times of desperation. Bat-MIte is an imp from the 5th dimension who idolizes Batman. Because of this, Bat-MIte would visit Batman on various occasions. He was more of a nuisance than a supervillain, and whenever he noticed Batman was getting annoyed at him, he would disappear. Injustice Batman is a version of Batman who, on his world, no longer fights supervillains, but fights Superman. You see, in this universe, due to a bunch of traumatic events, Superman turned from a superhero into a dictator. Now he rules the world with an iron fist, and Batman is the only one who can oppose him. The next version of Batman is Jim Gordon. In the main DC universe, after Batman was assumed dead, the Gotham police force kitted Jim Gordon up with a mech suit and a bat truck and sent him out as the replacement Batman. Jim operated as Batman for a while, but eventually the original Batman did return and retake the mantle. Elliot Ness was a federal agent tasked with leading armed forces to take down gangster Al Capone in Prohibition-era Chicago. Struggling to take down crooks while working within the restraints of the law, he made the persona Batman so he could work on both sides of the law. Police Detective Batman is a version of Batman who, instead of working aside the police, decided to work for the police. In this universe, Bruce Wayne rose up the ranks of the Gotham City police force and eventually became commissioner. It was only then that he finally donned the cape and cowl. The next version of Batman was Jim Gordon's grandson, Jim Gordon II. This version of Batman became the Cape Crusader when he came across a Batman suit Batman had given to Jim years ago. He decided to don the suit and take up the mantle of Batman. Interestingly, his greatest villain was still the Joker, but this time in a virus form. Dick Grayson is also donned the Batman mantle during the event Battle for the Cowl. In this event, Batman is presumed dead, so in his honor, Dick Grayson assumes the mantle of Batman and recruits Damian Wayne as his Robin. He stays in the mantle of Batman until Bruce returns. Damian Wayne, Batman of Earth 16, doesn't actually fight any crime. You see, in this world, Superman destroyed all the crime years ago, and now robot Superman patrol the Earth. Instead, superheroes are regarded as celebrities and live in luxury. Earth 11 is the same as normal Earth apart from the fact that the superheroes' genders are reversed. Because of this, Batwoman exists instead of Batman. She has the exact same history as Batman, apart from the fact she is female. Batman the Animated Series is, as it says, an animated series about Batman. In this universe, Batman is basically the same as the normal Earth Batman, apart from a few small differences here and there. Black Lantern Batman is a zombie version of Batman wielding a black ring who appeared during the event Blackest Night. He is not actually an undead Bruce Wayne, but an undead copy of Bruce Wayne from another universe. Batman is a horrific winged creature who is half man and half bat. He was created to defeat the Dark Joker by two sorcerers, Majesta and Leandra. He eventually grows up and defeats the Dark Joker, killing him as payback for killing his parents. Bruno Van Cal was a lower class workman who had his parents killed in a fire due to the neglectance of their boss Joe Chillingham. Later, Bruno was inspired by union organizer Selina Kyle to fight against crime. He donned a costume to hide his identity and started robbing from the rich to give to the poor. The final version of Batman is Prehistoric Batman. This is a version of Batman where Bruce had been teleported back to the prehistoric era, and in the process his memory had been warped. In this era, he used the pelt of a giant dead bat as his costume and fought against the evil Vandal Savage.
Whoa, exhausting. That was a lot of Batman.
Okay, then that brings us to the end of today's video. My question for you is, what was your favourite version of Batman? Feel free to leave your answers in the comments below. If you liked this video, please smash the like button, and if you are new here, please consider subscribing. Also, if you enjoy this type of thing, why don't you check out my podcast, The Super Gurus. It is a podcast that happens every week where my co-host Finn and I chat general comic book news and comic book stuff. This week we are chatting all the new movie trailers, Transformers, Spider-Man, etc. Okay then guys, that brings us to the end of the video. See you next week. Legoinator out. Bye.